Alf, I don't know how many times we have to say it. SGC is not going anywhere. It is not going to turn into the PSA Boca Raton.
You take the card and put it in the sleeve.
It's not PSA South Florida. It's just going to stay SGC. Contrary to popular belief, Mike Baseball Collector put out a prediction, I don't know, a couple of months ago now, and then every one of his friends, content creators and so forth, not all of them, but I'm just trying to trigger as many people as possible. He stated that within, I think, 18 months, and this was, I think, what, 3, 4, 5 months ago? I don't know. Time is just time. Who knows? That SGC would be no longer. Well, our friend Leighton Sheldon over there at justcollect.com. By the way, if you have a collection to sell and you don't know where to go with it, right there on the website, the appraisal form, justcollect.com, Vintage Modern Cards. Leighton Sheldon runs that site. He had an interview with Nat Turner, of all people, the big dog. And Leighton addresses this directly with Nat, and Nat gives a very clear answer. Alf, do we have the clip?
SGC is here to stay?
Yeah, SGC's here to stay. We're not, killing that brand at all. We love SGC. I mean, especially for vintage, I would say. Like, I think, vintage collectors rightfully trust them almost as much as PSA when it comes to authentication and grading. What we have done is we have opened a PSA office in South Florida near them, actually like right next to them. There are employees at SGC that we've basically given an opportunity to train and work under the PSA brand. We actually, when we bought SGC, we talked about this. We said one of the primary reasons we were so interested in them is that we respect their grading team. And so there are certain grading team members that, are being asked or have volunteered to, help with our demand, which has been very high compared to our capacity. SGC, though, still gets plenty of cards. We have made some changes to their dealer program. We can't really keep up on the PSA side. So, it's been hey, how can we, get the best of both worlds here by getting some extra capacity through some of that team, by training them on the PSA standard. That's the SGC update.
So there you have it. Now, Nat did say, of course, there is some amazing grading talent over there at SGC that can be used kind of crossover with PSA. PSA is basically going to be right next door to the Boca Raton office there at SGC. That can share notes, share technology on what's going on with fraud type stuff and be able to catch cards coming through. SGC's got amazing grading talent, especially on the vintage side. So yes, they are owned by the same parent company. They'll probably work together on certain things. There'll be SGC employees and cross over and do some PSA stuff. Also, speaking of PSA, make sure to get $25 off your first submission over there, SCD25 code at the shipping and billing screen. Now, recently, along with kind of the PSA SGC joint venture there, joint office there in Boca Raton, the SGC bulk submitter program hasn't come to an end, but basically SGC said that they're not going to give the discount, the bulk submitter discount, which is going to make a lot of the bulk submitters just stop doing it, which makes sense. But as Nat said in that clip there, I think that a lot of it has to do with just being able to keep up with demand. Really, the cost of grading has been going up. PSA has been struggling keeping up with demand too. They've got a backlog that they're working through. Grading is absolutely red hot. We talk about it every single month when the gem rate data comes out. Every month, it seems like we break a new record. And last month, I think, was the most cards graded ever by all 4 companies. CGC had a big hike. PSA did. SGC, even though their numbers dropped a little bit, year over year, they're still grading twice as many cards as they were this time last year. It's a huge difference. And Beckett hanging around there at 50, 60,000 cards every month. The thing that I don't understand why people don't get this is in this industry, it is so small. We've seen that to get traction in the grading space is near impossible. So why would you roll a company like SGC into PSA when they have good brand recognition? There is a clear distinction between people that want to use SGC over PSA. And when PSA collectors acquired SGC, that's exactly what they said. They found there is a clear distinction. These are not customers that really want to cross over. There is a line in the sand there, and there's customers that PSA will never get because they are so used to using SGC, and that's who they want to use. And it just made sense. I'll say too, in my opinion, even if the SGC volume goes way down, let's say a year from now, they're grading 50,000 cards a month, the same as Beckett. I still don't think that means a damn thing. I don't think that they roll that into PSA. I still think they keep SGC the way that it is and let those people that are using SGC, if it's 50, 60,000 cards every month, continue to use them. I don't think that's going to happen. I think SGC is still going to continue going strong, but I just don't think that people are going to change, roll it into something else. The same way I don't think that Beckett, even though they're grading 50,000 cards, the lowest that they have probably in their history over the last however many years, 40, 50, 60,000 cards a month, are they thinking about changing the name from Beckett? No, they're not. Think of it like food companies, where a company like Conagra, big food company, owns a bunch of different brands. Maybe they own, and I don't know which brands or what, but maybe they own Frito-Lays and they also own Doritos, and they own this other brand. Are they competing against each other? Yeah, I guess. Those potato chips are competing against another, the barbecue versus the sour cream. Who's going to win the potato chip war? They don't care. They just own each one of those brands, and each one of those brands is popular in its own way. And I'll just go back to saying, the sports card industry doesn't have the luxury of the food industry where people enjoy lots of different brands. It's extremely limited, especially in the grading space. We're talking about 4 major companies that really run grading. And then there's a couple outside of the big 4, but really we're talking about 4, 5, 6 companies that do the vast majority of the trading card grading in the space. And that's probably not going to change. There's probably not going to be a new company that breaks in. It probably won't happen. And I feel like the people that are calling this the SGC going away crowd, it always just the timeline keeps getting pushed down until eventually Armageddon will happen and none of the companies will exist anymore and be like, ha, see, I told you SGC doesn't exist anymore. I mean, granted, the world doesn't exist anymore, but, see, I told you, I was right. It's always like, a year from now, 2 years, 5 years from now, you watch, 2050, that company will not be operating. Just keep on moving the goalposts until eventually you're right, and who knows? I don't have a crystal ball. I don't have any inside information. But to me, this just seems like such a basic thing. Just from a branding standpoint, it makes no sense to roll SGC into PSA. It just doesn't. It makes no sense to discontinue SGC and just take over all those assets. Oh, now you're all PSA employees, and now you're all. It's just another PSA office. PSA has enough offices. PSA has their own issues to deal with as far as the backlog, getting everything going. They're still reinvesting into infrastructure to get the backlog gone and get grading sped up the way that they wanted to. And they will. They absolutely will. But that is what they're working towards now. Their priority is certainly not closing up shop for SGC. It's not. But it's funny. It's fun to listen to all the different debates around it. Friends, have an amazing day ahead. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.